Oh, wait, let me water my plant before I forget to do that. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought it might be fun if I shared 10 different self-care tips, tricks, hacks that I use in my everyday life to kind of help relieve stress or kind of get my mind off of things that are, really overwhelming me at the moment. So let's get started. Okay, so self-care tip number one is face masks. I thought I would include it because I was never really a big face mask person until around maybe like a year ago when my friend got me some face masks as part of a little gift, and I was like, okay, well, if I have face masks, I might as well use them. And I did use them and they were amazing and I was hooked immediately. So what I like about them is that they really force you to take 15 to 20 minutes and do nothing, because usually when you have the face mask, when you're waiting for it to set, the instructions say leave it on for 15-20 minutes and then you can wash it off or do whatever. And I find that, especially for me, since I have to take my glasses off and I'm blind without my glasses, it really forces me to just sit there or lay down and just take 15-20 minutes to absolutely do nothing and just relax, which I think is really great. Number two is meditation and breathing exercises. Now, this is something that I've incorporated in my life for a long time. I find that it's really, really good for you and it really makes you stop and slow down. And I think for those of you who might be new to meditation and, maybe haven't really done it before, I understand how it could feel a little bit strange, but I really encourage you to try it. What I normally do is I will sit and I will, set a timer for maybe 5 to 7 minutes, depending on how long I want to go that day. And I'll just like sit there, maybe play some music, like some music without words, like just calm music, and just breathe in and breathe out and only focus on my breathing. It's not supposed to be a time where you really think about other things. I think it's really supposed to be a time where you are trying to focus on your breathing, so that's the only thing that's in your mind. And for me, I kind of took a pause on the whole meditation thing when I started my freshman year of college, just because, I had roommates and it was a little bit strange. But second semester at the beginning, I was really, really stressed out and there was a lot going on. I was overwhelmed, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back to this meditation thing and see what happens. So I would set a timer, as soon as I woke up, I'd sit on the floor and just breathe in and breathe out and focus on that. And I found that after doing that for even 2 or 3 days, I already felt so much better. I felt so relaxed. I felt ready for the day, and the challenges that came at me, during the day didn't stress me out as they had before because I had really taken the time to mentally prepare myself. So if you've never meditated before, I really encourage you to try, just 5 minutes. You can be alone in your room or whatever. You can try it with a friend maybe, but take a moment to just practice, breathing in, breathing out, and really taking good breaths. Because I feel like it's, people don't do it enough, and I feel like they should because it's really important. And breathing is obviously something we do naturally, so I think a lot of times people forget how, helpful breathing exercises can be. But if you've never done it before, I encourage you to try it. Okay, so number three is to drink enough water, and I cannot stress this enough. Something that I do to make sure I'm drinking enough water throughout the day is I make sure that I start my day with a glass of water. As soon as I wake up, I'll usually have a glass next to my bed, and I'll take that glass down to the kitchen and I will fill it up with water and just drink it until that glass is gone. And I think it's really important before you do anything, make sure you drink water. I cannot stress this enough. Do it, please. It's good for you. And if regular water is boring to you, cut up some lemons or limes or cucumbers and kind of stick them in the water so you have a fancy, bougie little detox water to start your day. It does taste really good. I will say that. I do it all the time. So, yeah. Number four is to take a walk. Now, this one really works for me if I've been inside all day or I've been, studying really hard for an exam or just like trying to get this project done. Instead of trying to spend another 10-15 minutes working on whatever project it is you're working on, it's important to say, okay, I think these 10 or 15 minutes may be better off spent going outside and taking a walk, because the two things that are really good about it in terms of self-care is, one, you get some fresh air, which is always great, and two is that it incorporates movement. And now this brings up a point where I think that a lot of times we kind of underestimate how important movement is for our health, whether it's physical health or mental health. And by movement, I don't just mean going to the gym or running or working out, because that's kind of its own separate thing, but even small movement, just like making sure that you're walking around enough, things like that are really important. So next time you're feeling overwhelmed, just drop whatever it is you're doing, go outside, take a quick lap, and just come back, and I guarantee you will feel a lot better than before, and you'll be able to focus on whatever you are working on. Tip number 5 is to FaceTime a friend or family member that you have not talked to in a while. Now, this one might not seem like a classic self-care tip, but I think that it's really important because as human beings, I think it's necessary for us to have social interactions, often. I know some of us might not be super social, some of us might be a little more introverted, and that's fine, but I think that when you're really stressed out, talking to someone that you are close to is really helpful. And the reason I also said someone you're close to but maybe haven't talked to in a long time is that I know we all have our group of best friends that we talk to every single day, all the time, FaceTiming, texting, calling, whatever it is. But I also know that I have a lot of really good friends, really close friends that mean a lot to me that maybe I don't really talk to on a regular basis, especially, I found that after I went to college for my first year, it can be a little more difficult to kind of keep in touch and stay in contact when you don't see these people every day. So, whenever you're feeling stressed out, take a moment to just pick up your phone and call or FaceTime someone that you haven't talked to in a while, because it's a good distraction, and I think it'll make you feel better because, I always feel so much better after because I'm like, good thing I talked to this person. I kind of, strengthened our connection again, and it feels really good to do that. So next time you're feeling a little bit low, pick up the phone and call somebody. Number 6 is to learn a new skill. What I mean by that is you don't need to go out and learn something super, super complicated that you don't know how to do. But I find that this self-care tip works for me not when I'm tired or feeling kind of fatigued, but when I do have some energy, but I've just been stressed out because my mind is really crowded on working on something in particular. You don't need to go out and, completely learn how to play a new instrument or learn a new sport or, anything like that, which you are more than welcome to do. But what I actually mean is learn a new skill, something small. So what I will do is if I'm feeling, like I've just been glaring, my eyes have just been glaring, staring at this laptop screen forever, and I'm like, okay, I need a break because if I look at this for another second, I might explode. I will, let's say I'll go on Instagram and, I follow these art pages where people will post like how-to videos on like how to draw little doodles, like 3 steps, something super easy, and I'll take it upon myself to learn one of those little doodles. And, I think the last thing I did, I don't remember what exactly it was, but I think it was like a little flower. So I learned how to draw a 3-step cute little flower, and now I have something new that I can draw on the edge of my paper whenever I'm bored, but it also distracted me and it kind of made me feel accomplished in a sense of like, hey, like it might be small, but I learned something new today. And if drawing isn't for you, it could be anything, maybe like a little easy snack recipe or a how-to video on maybe, a new chord if let's say you play guitar, something like that, something small where you can distract yourself, but it's not going to take a long time, so that way you can get right back to work. Number 7 is to make sure you stretch. So basically what I do is either before I start my day, right when I wake up, or before I go to sleep, I'll just take, a few minutes and stretch. Oh, the garbage truck is here, so it might get a little loud. I don't know if you could hear it. Maybe I just exposed it and it wasn't necessary. But anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, stretching. So basically with stretching as well, I think nowadays it's more important than ever to make sure we do stretch, especially because we spend a long amount of time on either our phones or our laptop screens, not just, because we want to, but also we have to. I know that I can totally sit on my laptop for 2-3 hours straight and not even realize that I have not moved from that spot in hours. So whenever you are aware of it, every time you have that idea of, oh my gosh, like I have really been sitting here for 3 hours on my laptop with kind of like your neck bent over like that, it's not good for me. Get up and just stretch a little bit, making sure that your muscles are good, you're kind of moving around, that way you're not kind of stuck in this, position for a long time. And yeah, don't underestimate the power of movement and make sure you stretch. Okay, so number 8 is kind of a fun one, and number 8 is to have a dance party. Now I know this sounds a little bit silly, but I guarantee it works. I decided to include this because this was a few months ago, but my friend and I were hanging out in our dorm room and we were just kind of sitting, talking, and we were just trying to kill time before this meeting that we had to go to. We were both kind of just sitting there and I was like, you know what? Let's have a dance party. And my friend just looked at me and she was like, what are you talking about? So what I did was I just set up my speaker and I just started blasting music super, super loud. And we just ended up dancing and it was so much fun. We were laughing the whole time, taking videos of our absolutely atrocious dance moves, and it was just a lot of fun. I just find that it's a lot of fun to just kind of start blasting music super loud and have a dance party and just be goofy and silly, and the two of us were laughing about it the whole night afterwards. But it was like a nice moment, and it's gonna be a nice memory. So self-care tip number 8, have a dance party. Now, tip number 9 is about social media. Something I've heard all the time when people talk about self-care, making sure, you only surround yourself with positivity, is they tell you to block social media or maybe get rid of it for a while. And now, while that is, great advice, it really is, because I think once in a while it is good to maybe delete the apps off your phone, delete Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it is that you use. I think that at the same time it can be a little unrealistic, and I think it can be difficult to kind of completely get rid of social media sometimes. So this tip I want to offer you might be a little more realistic or a little more manageable. And for me, what I do is that, once in a while I will go through the list of who I'm following, and I'll go through and kind of ask myself, is following this person making me happy, or is it making me miserable? And this is a little more relevant for influencers and celebrities that I follow, but I think that oftentimes we follow people because we adore them and we look up to them and we love them, but sometimes I'll find myself following people because I just think that their feeds look cool or their life seems exciting. And while that's totally fine to, follow people that you think are super interesting and exciting, I think that it can easily be a trap into making us feel inadequate, or like as if our lives aren't exciting enough or interesting enough, our feed isn't pretty enough. And so I think that if you're kind of feeling that way, it can be a good idea, even for a short amount of time, to go and unfollow those celebrities and influencers that are not making a benefit into your life, that are not making a good impact, and instead maybe find some influencers that encourage positivity, body positivity, self-love, because there are some great influencers out there that are making it their job to kind of lift everyone around them up and make people, feel happy and positive and spread love and encouragement. And I think that substituting following an influencer that is not doing that for you for an influencer who is really positive and encouraging, I think can be a really great difference. And then you'll find that, once you unfollow those influencers and follow influencers that are actually trying to make a difference and doing good things for our world, it makes a difference. You'll go through your feed and you start seeing things that are positive messages, people who are living their life to the fullest. Maybe try that next time you're feeling like social media is starting to feel a little bit like a monster, getting a little overwhelming. Go through the list of who you're following and unfollow those celebrities and influencers that are not making you happy. Lastly, number 10, and this is my favorite thing to do, is to do something nice for someone else. Now, I think a lot of the times we think of self-care as being something we do for ourselves, which is totally true. You need to take time for yourself, but I think that doing something nice for someone else is kind of a good way to get that self-care indirectly. Give someone a hug, leave someone a nice comment, make a note, telling your sibling how much you love them. I think that it's a really great way to practice self-care because it reminds you of what's important in life. For me, I'm always happy, and I feel really, I feel really proud of myself when I make someone else happy or someone else feel good. And also, the thing about doing something nice for someone else is that eventually it'll find its way back around. If someone does something nice for me, it puts me in a really good mood, and I find myself being inspired to do something nice for someone else as well. You're creating a beneficial chain of positive events for the people around you, which I think is really inspiring, and it's humbling and it's grounding, and I think it's a really good way of reminding yourself what's important in life. So step number 10 is do something nice for someone else. Anyway, so those are the 10 little tricks or hacks or things that I do for self-care that I wanted to share with you guys. If you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to be notified whenever I do make more videos, make sure you hit the bell, the post notifications, so you can get those. And yeah, I think that is all for today, but before I go, I want to say that if you have, something that you do for self-care that I didn't mention in the video, maybe comment it down below, because that way we can all share with each other, we can learn from each other, which is really what I want this channel to be about. So comment down below what you do for self-care. I think it'll be really cool to read through all of those, and then you can read what people have posted and maybe get some new ideas. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it, and maybe you can incorporate one of the self-care tips that I talked about and see what it does for you. So yeah, thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oh, I was sitting in this chair for a long time, so now I should get up and stretch.